Ready? Good. Okay. So, good morning, everyone. We'll begin with the reflections on universal well-being. May
abiding well-being in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abiding well-being
in freedom from hostility,
in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intention,
all beings are the
owners of their action, and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, as results will be their whole. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts they will be the heirs.
So, good morning, everyone. We have finished our Noble Friendship Pod here at the monastery, and today we'll be transmitting the 8 precepts for the Emperor Liang repentance at Gold Sage Monastery. We'll start at 8 a.m., so we won't be having our 3 steps, 1 bow practice. I want to share a little bit about the 8 precepts because I think sometimes we a little bit take these things for granted in the Dharma. Oh yeah, we take these precepts, we do this or that. When we really study the sutras and study the precepts, and even study the ceremony book, the Buddha makes some pretty strong claims. For instance, at the very end of the ritual, the Buddha says, in the Shravastavadin Shastra, or this is a commentary, if one becomes the king of Jambudvipa, that's our entire continent, our entire world, or all the countries that we are in, and within Jambudvipa has control of all of his citizens' gold, silver, wealth, and jewelry, although he has merit and virtue such as this, if the merit and virtue of the 8 fasting precepts were to be divided into 16 shares, the merit and virtue of the king of Jambudvipa cannot even match one of the 16 shares. This is the teaching on the ultimate pure 8 fasting precepts. You have all obtained merit and virtue such as this. So if you imagine that in current terms, in modern terms, it would be like the wealthiest person in the entire world. I don't know who that is now. Maybe the person who runs Amazon? Is that the wealthiest person? Jeff Bezos? Maybe, maybe not. I know before maybe Bill Gates, probably billions of dollars. And so it's basically saying, well, I'm going to offer you $1 billion or the opportunity to take the 8 precepts. Which do you take? Or like even more simple, if somebody walked up to you and said, okay, I'm going to give you $100,000, or tomorrow we're going to transmit the 8 precepts. Which one do you want to do? Well, it's pretty easy. I'm going for $100,000. Because, well, I think you have a very limited vision. Because actually, the merit and goodness that comes from the 8 precepts is far greater than just $100,000. Why is that? How does that work? And I thought, when we were studying the precepts in the monastery before, one of the monks would share with us about the precepts, which I found to be very useful reflection. He would ask, when you write a journal entry or an article, what do? You go for the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how. Right? So he first would say, so for the 8 precepts, who? Or he says precepts in general, but say 8 precepts. So who? And he would say, you. You are taking the 8 precepts, or you're taking the precepts. No one else. So it's not for you to go and start looking for other people's faults. You're the one who said, I'm going to do this. So that's the first one. To be real clear, who is it that we're taking the precepts? It's us. We're taking the precepts. It's not, especially for those who are at home, who want to join the Emperor Liang repentance. They say, oh, I'm taking the 8 precepts, but everyone else isn't holding the precepts properly. They're not, they're kind of eating in the evenings, they eat meat, they do this, they do that. Saying, actually, just let that go. When we take the precepts, it's not about judging other people. It's about developing a way to reflect on our own conduct with the standard given by the Buddha. So first, who? Then says what? So in this case, it's the 8 precepts, right? Not killing. So let me clear, what does that mean? That means we don't harm any creature. We don't see an ant and we crush him. Right? We don't steal. We don't take things that's not ours. We don't engage in any sexual activity. If we want to do a little bit more, I would also say we don't want to abuse the senses. So maybe watch less TV, use the internet a little bit less, make sure we don't end up looking at images or listen to things that would cause our mind to stray into inappropriate areas. We don't lie, so we make sure the words that we say are true. We don't take intoxicants, so we don't take substances that delude the mind, or if we want to go a little bit deeper, maybe we can start picking out habits that we have that cause us to be very distracted. And we say, maybe I'm not going to do that. Maybe it's using the cell phone. So I take the cell phone and I put it away for the day, right? Or I only have it on emergency mode, so I only need to take very important calls. Maybe I tell my friends I'm unavailable because I'm on retreat. So I lessen the distractions. And it goes on to not sleeping on high beds, which is, I'll say, not looking for luxurious kind of comfort, but actually being content with simplicity. Right? Not having entertainment. So going out and watching shows or movies, but saying, what, I'm actually quite content with my mind. Our mind is entertaining enough. We don't need to add more to it. And I'm just going to watch the show in my mind and just, observe what's arising. And if I'm practicing the Dharma, I recite the Buddha's name. I'm going to use the Dharma to help me find a peace that doesn't need external stimulus to feel okay. I'm not going to decorate or put on kind of perfume, makeup, cologne, all these kind of things that make me a little bit more attractive. I'm going to say, what? Real beauty comes from inside. I don't need to go outside to kind of put on these kind of things to make me beautiful. And finally, which is often one of the most difficult, is I'm also not going to eat past noon. I'm going to just be content with just eating breakfast and lunch. Or for the monastic, we just eat one meal a day. And this begins to allow us to learn how we can be, again, simplify our lives and not needing to eat all the time. What I think we find is that food is a way that we deal with our anxiety. So when we're feeling a little bit anxious, the way we deal with anxiety is to kind of get some sensual distraction, which is oftentimes food. So we go and eat something. But if we start to practice, we go, oh, actually, what if I were just to observe the anxiety and not have to go out? Maybe there's a little bit of hunger, especially in the beginning when our body's not used to it. And so say, you know what, perhaps I can be patient with the hunger. It's only, I think, in modern times where we have had such easy access to food. In the past, probably just 1,000 years ago, human beings experienced hunger. People probably had to gather food and store it up in the wintertime, and maybe sometimes we didn't have enough food. Right? It's only in modern times now that we have kind of so much food all around that we can buy and have. At the same time, there's still hunger around the world. Having been exposed to Buddhist Global Relief, where their mission is to help with hunger, you find out lots of people are hungry, don't have the resources to just fill their bellies. So I won't go into too much more because of the time. So it's who, what, when. So it's 8 precepts. You take it for 1 day and 1 night, or 1 week, depending on your own aspiration. For the 5 precepts, you take it for a lifetime. Take it for a lifetime. For the Bodhisattva precepts, you take it all the way until Buddhahood. Right? So we know this is the time frame that I'm committing to. Who, what, when, where. The precept teacher, he would say, everywhere. Meaning wherever we are, we're holding the precepts. And that's what's, you could say the power of it is because it's something that becomes part of who we are as we cultivate. It's not just something we do during the hour of meditation or the hour of bowing repentance, but it's something we take throughout the day. And it connects to all living beings throughout the Dharma realm. Because if we make a vow, I do not kill, or I do not harm, then that vow applies to everything in this universe. I will harm no living creature in this entire universe. So it's everywhere. Why? The precept teacher would say, for Buddhahood. That's why we're taking the precepts, right? It's not for kind of becoming a good Buddhist. It's not because everyone else is doing it and I'm doing it too. It's because I want to find true liberation and happiness and serve all living beings. That's what I'm doing. By upholding the precepts, perhaps I can find more inner well-being, more inner stillness, more discipline, so that I can actually be of real service to those around me. Right? It's not about pride. It's not about being better than other people. It's not about competing. Why? And finally, how? Who, what, when, where, why, and how. And this you can go and study. But I think the simplest is say, try your best. Try our best. We're not going to be perfect. But if we're sincere and we try our best, then little bit by little bit improve. And we might make some mistakes. We might, slip up and maybe eat something in the evening, or maybe watch some movie. Hopefully we don't watch a long movie. We catch ourselves. But you go, okay, I didn't hold it purely, and I can take responsibility for it. I might even tell a fellow Dharma friend that holds the same standard, say, you know what, I didn't do this so well, but I want to renew my vow. I want to really uphold this. And this allows us to stay true to our vows, upholding the precepts. And what that does, it creates a sacred space for us to go and do our practice. This sacred space is not just a monastery. but actually it's an internal space of how we hold our minds, how we hold our actions, our activities, and then our practice can go really deep. And so why is these 8 precepts more valuable than all the gold and silver in the entire world? Because all the gold and silver in the entire world, what it can do is it can give us the happiness of getting what we want, a conditioned happiness. But these 8 precepts show a path to a happiness where we can be free of wanting, free of lacking. And then happiness is infinite and endless and goes way beyond a conditioned happiness that we can get from gratifying our desires. So today, for those who have the ability to, at 8 o'clock we'll begin transmitting the 8 precepts. I hope you can join us. Otherwise, wish you a good day. And hopefully you can make your day a sacred day through reflecting on your conduct and making it one which allows you to deepen your practice. Okay, Amitabha. Also, we'll not be doing the 3 steps, 1 bow today because we have the 8 precept transmission. You'll find the link on the Zoom at berkeleymonastery.org. Great, perfect. Okay. Yeah, we'll put it in the chat box for you to find the link. Okay, Amitabha.